Hey, my beautiful ass, special ass, magical ass goddesses. It's me, your girl Kayla, back with another video. So today, I wanted to talk about some really important keys to your spiritual healing. I'm gonna go over 5, and make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video because there's gonna be an extra 6th one. You may not be happy to hear it, but like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna give it to you straight, no chaser. So let's jump straight into the video. So, one of the things that is really important to know during your spiritual healing is that it's not going to be the same as everybody. Like, my healing isn't going to be the same as your healing. Your healing isn't going to be the same as the next person's healing. It's a very individual journey. So don't feel bad if you're not at a certain place, or you're wanting to see certain things happen within a certain amount of time. Like, just throw all that out the window. Just have a very open mind when it comes to this journey, and that's probably what's going to help you out the most. Oftentimes we get stuck in our very rigid 3D understanding of life, and so literally this process is just you unlearning everything you've spent your entire lifetime learning. I'm sorry, I'm like looking all over the place. I'm in the park. I love being out in nature. It's still nice out. I live in Georgia, so I'm trying to enjoy the nice weather before it gets hotter than the 8th circle of Dante's Inferno around this bitch. Anyway, so let's jump into number one. Number one key to spiritual healing, and I cannot emphasize this enough. Like, even before I realized I was starting my spiritual journey, this was one of the things that I had prayed for, and that is discernment. Discernment slash intuition. They kind of work hand in hand a little bit, not too much. Like, they're totally different, but at the same time, when you can strengthen one, you can strengthen the other. So when it came to my discernment skills, this is the thing. Excuse me. This is the thing. My intuition has always been spot on. If I listen to it or not is the question. And so I just wanted to be able to have that discernment of, okay, I saw this, maybe I should question this, or I saw this, maybe I should be questioning that behavior, that type of stuff. So it really, really does help you on the journey, because you will literally be able to spot bullshit from a mile away. I kid you not. Like, when I first meet people, I've always been like this throughout my life, but now I'm very intentional about it, where I won't really say much. I'll say hi, I'm very friendly, I'm not mean or anything, but I will kind of slide to the back and just kind of peep the scene and what's going on, how you treat others, how you interact with others, what you do. Like, yeah, I'm gonna discern the shit out of you real quick. So yeah, it's a very valuable, helpful skill to have. Also, as I talked about before, your intuition. Like, I beat myself up about it sometimes, and I know I shouldn't, and that's something that I'm still working on, which is another thing. The healing journey never really ends. It is a continuous journey. Don't set goals like, I'm gonna be done with healing by the time I'm 28, because no, you're gonna be surprised and shocked and pissed that your plan isn't gonna work out. So but yeah, my tuition has always been on point. If I actually listen to it or not is the question. So I'm definitely getting better at just trusting myself, is basically what it is. It is me trusting myself and not questioning myself. So yeah, that's number one, discernment, intuition. Number two, and shout out to Lulu from House of Oshun channel on YouTube. I'm gonna steal her line, and that's get in tune with your star player. Get in tune with your star player. What does Lulu mean by get in tune with your star player? What Lulu means by get in tune with your star player is be one with yourself, right? Oftentimes, especially if you are a divine feminine, more than likely you're also an empath, which also means that you're going to be picking up the emotions of other people, and it's oftentimes going to be hard for you to not put others' needs and wants over your own. That, when I tell you, that was one of the hardest lessons for me. Like, even when I was younger, when I didn't know what I wanted to do, like, I would just, people would ask, like, what do you like to do? And I'm like, I just like to help people. Like, my entire life, that's all I've wanted to do, was just be able to help people. That shit gets me in so much trouble. Like, And that's part of that discernment, understanding like who actually wants to be helped and who's actually just a energy vampire and, you know, just trying to shuck you dry before they take off without taking any type of action whatsoever to actually improve their life. So when you get in tune with your star player, you realize everything else has to go out of the window. You can't care about, you know, your cousin that needs you to babysit. You can't care about, you know, your sister who, you know, may need you some money for growth. Like you got to throw all that to the side. You have to, for the sake of you. How is it that you can focus on your own growth if you're still trying to focus on other people? And, you know, you may try to find a little compromise in there, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that shit ain't gonna work. Save yourself the trouble and frustration and just chuck that shit to the side, because at the end of the day, you're gonna wear yourself out. You're just gonna burn yourself out. When I say this from experience. Like, I'm definitely preaching to the choir. Like, you literally just gotta throw everybody to the side. Everybody. I mean, even there are times where I have to tell my son, like, mommy loves you, but I need like 20 minutes to myself, peace and quiet. And he knows. So, you know, he has no problem with it, because that's a boundary that him and I have, and he understands. Like, yes, mommy needs time. Get it. So, get in tune with your star player. Oftentimes, like, you don't even consider your wants, your needs. We get so busy taking everybody else's wants and needs into consideration first. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Take your needs and considerations in need first. If you have to, disappear for a week. Like, put your phone on do not disturb. You know, tell people, you know, you're just gonna disappear for a week. Learn how to just focus on you. Get into it with your star player. Okay? So that's number 2. Number 3. This is probably the hardest part. I mean, I can't tell you how many TikTok videos I come across and other social media videos talking about how lonely the spiritual journey is, right? On this spiritual journey, you have to read my lips. You have to, at some point, have a hermit mode. What do I mean by hermit mode? Hermit mode is literally where you just disappear from the face of the earth. You just fall the fuck off the face of the earth. When I had my hermit mode, I didn't talk to my family for like 2 years. I mean, I already didn't have friends because at that point in the spiritual journey, you know, I was just like, oh, nope, you gotta go. You have to have this hermit mode, because it is very hard for you to start to hone in and focus on your own energy and growing that energy and healing yourself when you are around other people and constantly picking up their shit too. It's not going to work. If anything, it's going to put you further back than it is going to drive you ahead. So you have to have a hermit mode. You have to isolate yourself. You have to take that time for you. You have to learn how to be in your own energy. You have to understand that silence is necessary. Being with yourself is necessary. Going inside for all of your answers, and stop looking around for all of these external influences and stimulation. You got to get in tune with your star player. They kind of go hand in hand, but yeah, you just need that hermit mode. There is no possible way that you can go into this spiritual journey and still be on the same level of the things that you were before you started the journey. What do I mean by that? So as you start healing, your frequency increases, your vibration increases. But guess what? The people and places and things that you were doing before you even started all of this work, they're still the same. They're not doing any improvement at work. They're just living their best life. I don't know about best life, but they're living life. So there's no way that you can be this whole new person and then still interact with those old things and not expect for it to bring your life down in some way, shape, or form. That's why you got to let it go. It's like returning to those things from the past. If you're up here and they're down here, guess what? Crabs in a barrel is going to slowly bring you right where everybody else is, which is oftentimes why you end up having to let go of so many people. I can honestly say at this point that, like, it doesn't bother me. And I think one of the reasons that it doesn't bother me is because A, I understand my growth, and B, I understood why I even had that relationship with those people in the first place prior to my spiritual growth. So I guess it all kind of depends on what you need to get the closure. For me, it is just, I need that understanding of what took place, why it took place, and why the final outcome was the way it was. And once I get a better understanding of that, like, I'm just like, I'm a Libra. I am the queen of detaching. Like, what, bitch? Bah. Like, it's nothing to me at this point to just release things. So it definitely takes time to get there, and it's definitely goals, but it's worth it, because then, you know, it's just so much easier to just separate and not feel the need to attach yourself to all these people, places, and things, you know, thinking that it will bring you some type of ultimate happiness or joy, or, you know, any of this other very 3D matrixy type shit. I got my coffee. I came to the park super early in the morning so I can make sure it was nice and quiet. Moving forward. Okay, so number 4, emotional processing, right? This journey is so heavy, y'all. So heavy. Like, I had so much happen last year. God, like, even just talking about it just kind of puts me in this very kind of mood, because it was not a fun year for me. At this point, I am surprised I have any moisture left in my body, because when I tell you, I cried so much in 2020, and it could have something to do with the fact that I believe we had like 6 total lunar eclipses, but I mean, y'all, like, woof, but I had to process those emotions. Those were literally emotions that I had been telling myself that it didn't bother me, or I was fine, or I could be strong enough to make it through this. And the divine was like, no, bitch, we gonna deal with this here. A part of detachment for some people like myself is lying to yourself, like telling yourself that you don't really care, and instead of processing those emotions, you just kind of avoid it altogether, which does not help, because it comes back to bite you in the ass twice as hard. So do not avoid feeling what you feel. Generally speaking, what I do is I will just take one day, and I just call it a dump day. I just dump all the emotions anywhere I possibly can. Well, not anywhere I possibly can, but if I need to cry, I'll cry. If I want to sleep, I'll sleep. If, you know, I just want to walk around and be in the frumpy attitude, I'll warn people like, she ain't about that life today, you know, but I'm gonna do what I need to do to move forward. I'm not gonna let it linger, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it does. But you know, I take that L and then I bounce back. So yeah, don't run from your emotions. Understand. The whole point of healing is to understand why you're feeling what you're feeling, and where those feelings even originated from in the first place. Healing is not a very linear thing. So, you know, sometimes you may start with one thing and then realize, like, oh snap, like there's also this that I have to work on, and this that I have to work on, and all of that requires you to fully process those emotions. You can't start healing, like, let's say you were bullied as a child, and you say, okay, for my healing work, I'm going to start working on that because it's affected my self-esteem. And then you may realize that, oh, initially thinking that bullying just affected your self-esteem, but then you realize, like, oh, you know, that bullying may have affected my self-confidence, or my ability to communicate with other people. You know, there is layers to this. So peel back those layers, process each emotion. That way you're actually healing from things that you need to heal from, and just not kind of avoiding things off to the side. So then number 5, super simple. It's just be consistent in whatever you choose to do, right? There are several ways you can choose to heal. You can, you know, one of the most necessary ones is shadow work. So what I mean by be consistent is when you're noticing things come up, don't try to push it off. Don't try to shove it off. Just deal with it right then and there. Because often what happens is that you'll get into old habits mode, right? You'll kind of start feeling like, oh, well, I used to do it this way, but I don't necessarily want to do it this way today. And then what used to be your old habit is now continually just like what you're back living in. So be consistent with it every single day. I don't care if that's just, you writing down your emotions in a journal. Journaling is always one of the best things that I love to do, whether it be meditating on what you feel. Another one is like listening to music. There are so many different ways that you can heal. So whatever you do, pick a method and be consistent with it. Now, time for our little number 6 bonus. I'm gonna take a little sip because I think some of y'all might curse me out for this. What's number 6? Well, number 6 is celibacy. I don't know if many of you have ever practiced celibacy. Me, myself, I have been going 3.5 years strong. It is not for the weak. The first year is definitely the hardest. Whoosh, how? Like, I was literally like in grocery stores and I couldn't help, like, I'd just be looking at dick imprints everywhere. Like, I need to get laid. But this is the thing, right? I went from that initial reaction, right? And now, fast forward, it's like, I don't know what kind of STIs you got. And by STIs, I mean, or STDs, I mean spiritually transmitted disease, right? What a lot of people do not realize is that incubus and succubuses exist. They will literally fuck you just to come and steal your energy. Do you know how far off that can throw you on your path? Yeah, I'm not willing to risk that. I'm sorry. Mostly because, like, let's be real. A lot of men nowadays are very selfish when it comes to sex. Like, they are solely focused on themselves. So at this point, I don't even really feel like I'm missing anything, to be perfectly honest. But it's all about me protecting my energy at this point. Celibacy is important on the spiritual journey for a woman because when you have sex and a man ejaculates in you, or even if he's wearing a condom, there's going to be transfer of juices, transfer of skin cells. Guess what? That stays there for 7 days. And if you think that sperm doesn't have an energy to it and it's not going to intertwine with and affect your energy, here's your awakening. Like, we really don't understand as a society because we've been just made to look at sex as this thing, and it is not. It is so much more. It should be a close, intimate bond between two people. We should not just be out here fucking to fuck. Like, I don't get it, Sway. Like, I'm not here to judge, but I'm not about that life. You should want to have some type of spiritual connection with a person that you're being intimate with. It shouldn't just be having sex. But you really, really, really do need to take that time to cleanse yourself. If you want to do yoni steams, which I highly suggest, you can even do yoni steams at home. There are tons of YouTube videos on how to do those at home if you can't afford to go out and have them done. You can do womb work, which, oh my God, it's so amazing. Not too long ago, I've probably been doing it for about a month and a half now, but Queen Afua, I think that's how you say her name. She's worked with a lot of celebrities, like mostly that I know of, Erykah Badu. And she has this wonderful book called Sacred Woman. And it's basically like this workbook of rituals and information on ancient Kemetic text regarding women and womb healing. Y'all, like, whew, baby, when I tell you, like, whew, within reading the first 50 pages of the book, like, I was in tears. Like, I didn't even realize how much I hadn't even processed, especially when it came to single parenthood. I didn't even realize how traumatized I had been from being a single parent. And that's what I mean by, like, when you heal, there are just so many things that come up that you never even realize. And sometimes it may seem like an endless cycle, but processing and getting all of those emotions out and healing them, I mean, I can't even express to you in words how much lighter it makes you feel and how much more powerful it makes you feel, because then you don't feel tied to all of these people, places, and situations that once made you feel powerless, like you didn't, like you weren't enough, or that you couldn't be enough for the people that you were surrounding yourself with at the time. So yeah, that's my little rant and rave. Make sure you thumbs up the video, subscribe to my channel, make sure you hit the bell notification so that you can get notified anytime I drop a new video. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching services, you can email me at divinefemrising11@gmail.com. And until next time, ladies, take care.